Hello. I'm going to be taking a look at what Vivek and Elon think of each other by request. Just some lighter fare. All right, let me just adjust some sound things here. I think we're good. All right. So I'm going to start off with the Stardust Shadow Tarot Oracle, again, by one of my favorite creators of decks, Trish James, from the UK. And this one I haven't used as much on here, but you see, I have used it off camera and I enjoyed it. It's a little bit different deck. It has one side that is like got the black side shadow, and you have a pink side. So it's interesting. So I'm going to start off with this card just to see this deck to see what we get. Again, that's the Trish James Stardust Shadows Tarot Oracle. Okay. Let's just see what we get. And I'm going to also use the regular tarot. Okay. So let's focus. I hope you guys are having a good new year despite all the craziness. And I hope that you remember what I keep trying to tell you, that my guides have let me know about this time, that please, no matter, who you are watching this, um, make sure with all the craziness going on that you take a few days here and there just to completely step away from human drama and recharge your batteries doing something simple, doesn't have to be complicated, that you like and that feeds your soul. It's going to be really crucial because if you've been watching my tarot readings and oracle readings, you'll know that I've been keep getting the Ace of Cups for a lot of really intense emotions, and people really are very intense in their emotions about this. So that can get a bit draining after a while. So please do remember to take care of yourself. It's going to be very, very important the longer, however long this thing with Trump goes on. So let's dial in and let's take a look at Vivek and see what he thinks of Elon. So I'm asking my spiritual mentors, my guides, to help me to read accurately and clearly. And what do we need to know about how Vivek feels about Elon? So what does Vivek, just pull this table a little closer to me. So what does Vivek feel about Elon? Okay, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. I couldn't record my readings earlier because my nurse was coming today, and so I was kind of caught for time. So I'm really happy to be able to, and I might do more than one. All right, so this is Vivek. Okay. Well, the first card I'm getting is involved and committed to the plan. But on the reverse side of it is hardship. and it's the Five of Coins. So this is also talking about decline, and usually financial. And you can see that the individual here is holding a coin. Now, for right now, I think he sees Elon as being committed to the plan, playing the fiddle. He's playing along. And I think he thinks he's very devoted um, to help the plans of the GOP. I think he really does buy that. And I can see how, on a very simplistic level, he might look at that and kid himself. But Elon's in it for Elon. And that's the whole reason that he wanted Trump in. Remember, I feel like a broken record sometimes. You know, he said he would be quote unquote effed if Kamala got in. Now, why would you say a thing like that? Unless you're pulling some shenanigans. And he's another corporate welfare baby. So, but we also get gossip. So I think he does talk about him. I think there is gossip about Elon being the uh, teacher's pet, so to speak. It's just the feeling that came up to me. And I think people think that Vivek is trying to get up closer to dear leader through his favorite at the moment. But I feel like there's also a great deal of gossip going on. And I see instability as well on the flip side of this. So to me, this is feeling like while things are going well, these are the uh, basic cards that come up first of Vivek seeing him as being involved and committed. But I think he might also know that economically, Elon really does need this for other deals that he has to that he wants to be successful with. This is part of his, strategy. And if that doesn't work, it does show that five of coins, the hardship. So I think there's kind of a balance of information that's understood. Um, but I think that at the same time, they know that if they're not together, all on board with this plan, there's going to be instability. But there already is instability, and it's just a matter of scratching the surface. There's a lot of gossip. A lot of gossip. I think that the Trump team lives to gossip. Um, you could see that, the way that they can only criticize and offer no real resolution or one that would actually um, bring about a good result. It's amazing to me how they think Trump has got great business sense when if you listen to real people with rather economic backgrounds that know about these things, they say his plans do the exact opposite, like the tariffs. He doesn't know what that really means and how that will mean all these prices now going up. I hope that the Trump MAGA folk realize that. They're going to. Well, some of them. At some point, I don't know. I think they would blame Democrats and Biden no matter what. Somehow, it's always never going to be the fault, of Trump. Anyway, as we carry along here, it goes into deep. Situation goes deep. So that means I think Vivek knows some deeper rumors, maybe gossip, that the reason Elon's so close is because he's in a tough bind, and that's why he's so committed, and that's why he's there, and that he's in a bit of a position if this doesn't work out. So I think he knows that he's a very uh, scheming type, that he's not unlike Vivek, who is also using this as a way to try to cozy up to power. And at the flip side, we get foreign land. Now, isn't that interesting, given what has been recently going on, where they both got involved with putting down MAGA by saying that, hey, these visas, these HB1 visas uh, for foreigners, because they're smarter, we need those because none of y'all can do these tech jobs. And this is their way of getting cheap labor in that they can exploit. They don't care about the people that they would be exploiting and the position it puts them in if they lose that job then. There's all kinds of things with the HB1 visa that they're not sharing. It's not a thing. It is a means that folks that are, foreign can get taken advantage of and their skills taken advantage of. And Americans get taken advantage of. Again, it's the wealthy. It is the wealthy taking advantage of the rest of us. And I hope that they will one day figure it out. But we have the world card. And in this case, it's saying goes deep. And we're looking at the global aspect and foreign lands and foreign, especially the deal with the foreign workers. And so they can exploit them and get more money. These people will never have enough money. Okay, let's see what else we're getting with this. That's interesting. We're getting forced. He knows that he's forced, in a sense, circumstantially, and that he didn't have a whole lot of quote unquote choice. Maybe that goes to the comment I made before I picked up this deck getting too far and saying that, what Elon has said, that if Kamala got in, he'd be effed. So I think he's thinking that, why is Elon there? Why is he doing this? Vivek's no fool in the amount that he knows that he's involved in the plan, although Vivek is still a fool. But he's savvy enough to know that why he's doing it. He's cozying it up to Trump because he's in deep doo-doos otherwise. And there's a possessiveness. There's wanting to hold on to his business, hold on to his money, and make more. It's greed based. And he feels like that's the money is the motivating factor for why Elon is even around and trying to, and is there doing what he's doing. Okay, let's see what else we get. Here we have the Emperor card of authority. Now, that would be Trump. That's how we would see him in the presidency. And also just a power. I think he sees him as someone that is definitely trying to cozy up to power, trying to become that power himself. However, on the flip side of this, I think he knows that if push comes to shove, Elon's going to want out. Sorry, tickling my ear. And that Elon also has an exit plan. So for the while, he's cozied up to power. It's transactional, is what he feels like Elon is. Highly transactional. And he's also, I think he acknowledges that he's in a desperate place. And that's why he's so cozied up and so busy with Trump and doing what he's doing. We also get the Ten of Swords here, where there's an ending coming. Um, there's also worry of that. And we've got the vultures here, and they are like a bunch of vultures. So I think he also sees him as being intuitively here with just the card, ruthless, like a quote unquote vulture that will pick over the bones, an opportunist, to say the least. And especially if he's in a bit of a bind, and he is. So, on the flip side of this is he's looking for opportunity, like I said, open doors, to get a start, to get ahead, to protect his interests. So far, very business transactional minded when it comes to Elon, at least with that deck. Now, I'm gonna try. Should I try this one? I'm gonna try What's the Vibe. I like trying some of the different decks I don't use all the time. So, What's the Vibe? Let's just see a little bit more if we can get outside of the businessy uh, strategy, typical reasons. So, what does Vivek feel personally? On a personal level, does he like Elon? Um, or is he just cozying up because proximity to power? How does Vivek actually feel towards Elon? And I'm asking my guides to help me to read accurately and clearly here. Chaos, upheaval, disaster, downfall. Okay. I think he thinks of him perhaps as a disturber, someone that can whip up chaos and create upheaval, and possibly, it going too far, downfall, to protect his own interests. And we get the tornado here. And it just reminds me how he came in, Elon did, and jacked up the budget, nearly putting it to, into not being sorted. And that was a very real thing. And the Democrats had to balance that out. Oh, he thinks he's a narcissist. Egotistical, what does that say? And opportunist, just like I said, and fragile, like the egg. And so he thinks on a personal level, despite all his smooching kind of up to him saying, I agree, doesn't hold a very high opinion of him. He thinks he's a crap disturber, so to speak, uh, a troublemaker that creates drama, that he's got a very big ego, that is very fragile, and you have to be very careful about how you and what you say to him because he could take it wrong, and that he's a narcissist, and that, as I said, out for himself, an opportunist. So he's not somebody he wants to get on the wrong side of. And he thinks that he's around Trump for a glow up, which would be to make himself have new opportunities and successful business. Yeah, I think that's accurate. And it's paired with, it's a second chance for him because Trump not being in the office would have put him in trouble much more quickly with his businesses and stuff. So it's also wishful thinking. It leads me to believe that he thinks of him as being somewhat unrealistic, kind of floaty, little out there, and that this is his second chance. and that he knows perhaps to appeal to the nostalgia um, and the dreaminess. And I think he also thinks that he has that capacity as well. Maybe he doesn't think he's very realistic with those cards. Okay. Now he thinks he's like a thrill seeker, addictions and bad decisions and continuous cycles. So I think he looks down at his substance use, and I think he believes that he doesn't make the best decisions. I'm going to say that I don't believe on the honest side that Vivek is any fanboy. I think he is acting like one just for proximity of power because I think he looks down his nose. And I think he doesn't think of him as being in good shape with his businesses. And in truth, he is not because he takes out a tremendous amount of loans, corporate welfare, and his businesses are not doing that well. There's problems. Um, and they're on a very kind of a tightrope where it could be easy for him to go into bankruptcy. All right. So I think he thinks of him as kind of reckless, bit of a thrill seeker, likes to push the envelope, is a drama causer, causes drama, and the continuous cycles that it's always going to be part of his nature that he's got to have something going on that's kicked up. But he also sees possibilities. Follow your dreams, make up your mind, believe in yourself. I think he has some certain qualities like that he admires. That he does follow his own dream, that he's not like Vivek that just kind of is a follower. He also thinks that, well, he's got a card of suffering and silence, unspoken desires, real feelings, and broken dreams. Now, this could be that he thinks that also on a much more private level, that Elon's not in good shape, that he is very concerned, that he's, once again, doing this because it's opportunity to save his business, and that he doesn't want to see his dreams, all these businesses that he has, go tits up, so to speak. Okay. I think he also knows suffering and silence and the unspoken desires is that Elon is not being transparent with himself, with the emotions and how he really feels, that this is a put on because he's feeling his businesses are vulnerable. And that's why he's doing this stuff in foreign lands as well. He is trying to desperately. Now, he also sees him as a father. Um, and I think he appreciates that. And there's the nurturing aspect. I think he sees him a lot with his son. And for Vivek, I think that's enough. He sees him as having wisdom, giving back, and wanting to mentor, wanting to teach and guide. But this is more of like a father figure, and I think he's trying to teach his son the business, even though he's bringing him in. And this kid's really too young to be in it, some of this stuff. It's bizarre. There's envy, okay? Vivek has envy, resentful, there's competition, competitive, and discontent. Okay? I think not only for Vivek, but I think the other folks that want to be close to Trump, um, feel very competitive with each other and resentful and envious of those within the team that tend to get his favor. And we have the aspect of time coming up and delay, as well as procrastination and too busy. I think, however, there's an issue maybe where the aspect of time comes in, and where time comes in relation to Elon. And he might feel like he's a procrastinator that waits to the last minute and that he's got too many irons in the fire. And then at the last moment, it's pandemonium. I'll pull a couple more. There's a longing, missing you, let's talk, reunion. I think he likes talking to him. I think he wants to also appear like, let's be friends, let's hang out. Hey, you're a cool dude. I miss hanging around you, you know. And I don't know that that's necessarily 100. I think Vivek is every bit as scheming. He does want to keep boundaries with him, however. And there's an aspect of disrespect and that you've got to draw a line and defend yourself and depend upon yourself as well. Don't count on him. So I think he's got a mixed array of feelings. He wants to use them just as much as Elon does Trump. Okay, let's go ahead and use this deck and shuffle it up again and ask how Elon feels about Vivek. How does Elon feel about Vivek? Does he like him? What does he really feel about Vivek? What does Elon really feel about Vivek? Okay. Well, it says feminine energy, gentleness, mothering, nurturing. Maybe he thinks he's a mama's boy. I think he has one of the things that came to me when I was reading on Vivek was that Vivek is closer, I think, to his family, more involved with his family in business stuff. That's the feeling I got. And then this makes me feel like when I'm looking from Elon's eyes at him, he thinks of him as a bit of a mama's boy, that he's dependent on the nurturing attention of his mom and women in general, that he's not an independent man, so to speak, that he's still dependent on a woman. Although, they all are. So, clingy, old exes, dead relationships, old ways. I think he thinks that maybe the cultural family closeness is suffocating to him, in Elon's way of thinking, that you need to do it independently, and that also Vivek is clingy. He wants to hang out. He's always trying to be around, like an old ex. And he doesn't have a real interest, I think, in maintaining any kind of real relationship to him. I think, unless it happens to be convenient. I think he thinks of him as old fashioned, um, and not very modern in his way of thinking. Okay. Now, then he gets the card of harmony, balance, peace, and happiness. And it's paired with consequences of bad choices, games, and mixed signals. I think he doesn't trust him. I think he thinks that I don't trust him trying to chummy up to me. Um, he gives mixed signals, and that there are also consequences that if he doesn't maintain harmony with Elon, I think Elon knows that he's going to feel what was the hit I just got? Like this she's got matches taped to her face and she's holding a match. So I think that he knows that he's being chummied up to, and that I don't think he thinks that Vivek makes good choices, um, and that there's mixed signals. I don't get a sense of trust. Absolutely not. None of these guys trust each other. I get smell the roses. Slow down, take some time, get out in nature. Okay. And it is paired with established, settled, secure, wealthy. Now, I'm not sure. He might think that he comes from a background that he can take his time and that he can be very slow in getting things accomplished. I think that he might think he's not committed enough to work, not enough of somebody that's too focused on holidays or enjoying some aspects in life. There could be something along these lines. Whereas I think for Vivek, he might think, hey, you need to enjoy yourself sometimes. You need to get out a little bit. Um, but there's a feeling here of like almost to me like Elon feels like, yeah, for you, you can do that because your family and Elon's family has money too. But I think for some reason he m- puts Vivek in a position where he really makes him like almost too tied to the apron strings and not enough of an independent thinker like Elon. I don't know, that's what I'm getting. We're getting a friendship, soulmate, twin flame romantic partner. I think that he might, well, let me see. Suffering in silence, real feelings, broken desires, broken dreams. Maybe he feels that, I don't know. Um, there's maybe where relationships or friendships are that the people cannot be as close as he tries to appear so chummy, so close like a soulmate, a friendship, as the card says. And so there's a real feelings people cannot speak, unspoken real feelings, unspoken desires, broken dreams. He might feel that he doesn't allow his wife, I don't know, to speak her mind. Maybe Elon thinks he does. I think Elon's got a real skewed perception. But, you know, I think he might feel that Vivek's relationship is uneven, that it is not equal, and that maybe Vivek is too selfish and needs a mommy, whether it's his mom, his wife. It's kind of that vibe. Good vibes in the moment. I think he's for the present, he's good for, I think, being playing nice, being friendly, being sociable enough. But it's all about the now. And then we have again the daydreaming, having your head in the clouds and delusions and hopes and dreams. Um, so Elon looks at him, I think, if somebody doesn't think long term, that lives very much in the moment and doesn't doesn't plan well or does not think ahead, think for long term. Not like he does either, but whatever. Okay. Let's see. What was the other deck I used? I'll go back and use that star dust shadows again to see how he feels. And if there's any background noise you're picking up, I do apologize. It is a family home. So you might pick up some noises here, although my new mic is much better. All right. Again, what does Elon feel about Vivek? Ramalama ding dong. What does Elon feel about Vivek? Hmm. Well, he keeps giving him that wishy-washy daydreamy card. Well, this is the wish come true card, the desires card that again he lives a lot on maybe fantasy, or that he's not realistic. That's the vibe I'm getting with the various cards from two different decks, no less. And the issue of stability comes up. He doesn't think of him as stable. Again, there's that aspect of where he's doesn't think long term, that he's not not a deep thinker. And we get innocence, unaware of wrongdoing. Okay, and that is paired with disappears, escapes unseen. I think he believes that innocence, unaware of wrongdoing, and disappears, escapes unseen is that maybe when things aren't done that he's supposed to be doing or taking care of, Elon might feel like he plays the innocent, like he's ignorant. And, you know, oop, and like he doesn't know what they're talking about, plays dumb. And then makes himself conveniently unavailable, hard to get hold of, um, and hides. So I think between the two of them, that Vivek has more basic respect for Elon. I don't think Elon has any respect for him. Truly don't. And that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Let me see. Let me just see something. Will these two ever turn on each other? Will Elon and Vivek ever turn on each other? Will Vivek and Elon ever end up turning on each other? Right now, they're agreeable about these foreign visas, but will they eventually fall out? Because these types of people do. They don't respect each other really in significant ways. Strategist. We get the Queen of Swords. So there's strategy that's being accented, and we're getting lifetime. Hmm. For me, with Elon, he's committed to working out his own strategy, following his own strategy. And for the long haul, the long term. He thinks ahead. I don't. um, the flip side of this is betrayal. So yeah, I think eventually they very much could. This is a very good possibility. And it's that Five of Swords where you're trying to be sneaky and get away with something. And on the flip side of the strategist or the Queen of Swords, we have accepting, surrendering to fate. So I think there could come a point where, despite right now that everything's pretty much okay, I think that this indicates that there could be a point where it's going to be, it is what it is, and there's a betrayal that they are going to feel that I think has been done by the other. But I have a feeling more so, I was going to say more so Elon toward Vivek, but I think it's going to be more Vivek toward Elon. It's like their commitment is to is to their strategy, their idea to just take everything back over because they don't really create much of a plan other than to do that. And the plans that they do have just don't seem to work. And I just feel like they're going to have a lot of dissension. A movie for the camera. I think they're photo ops, you know? Maybe we'll get the arguing on video or in still shots of some kind of imagery is being shown. And we flip it and we see that there's a negotiation. So I think they're going to try and work on some of their differences, or they're going to look like they are. But I think there's a feeling of betraying the what the plans are that the GOP has. And here we have the executive with the Hierophant. So I think, Elon thinks he's way above the rest of these clowns. I do. And I think this is where the sticking point could come. And he's also the confidant. He's got Trump's ear. Hell, he's living close near him, making sure he's got a place nearby so that the two of them can go to these events and so on and so forth and be seen out. But here we have compliant and obedience. So I believe there's going to be an issue where Elon thinks they should be following the same thing that he's telling Trump, that he's the one that's calling the shots. And these people are going to have some dissension. I think there will be a problem there, and that's where the rub is going to come. I think Elon's going to do Elon, not what MAGA wants. Any MAGAs watching this, I don't see him doing that for you. Um, uh, yeah, I see them having a falling out with the people around Trump. Elon having a falling out with the likes of Vivek and I think some others because he's going to be like telling them what to do and I don't think they're going to take kindly to it, just like MAGA didn't take kindly to Elon telling Trump to support the visas. And then we have back away and do not get involved. So I think there's going to be some kind of a split that could happen there between Elon and the GOP and certain members of the GOP for sure that don't think that Elon is just the best thing since sliced bread. He's going to want obedience from them. He's going to want the loyalty that Trump commands. It's just not going to go well. Not going to go well. Okay, I guess we will just watch and see how things play out This went so quickly, but it's already 45 minutes. If you appreciate this deep dive, please do give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. And as always, please understand the tarot, it gives the most likelihood if events continue as they have. And I think these are pretty spot on. It just sounds way too much like common sense, like that I could see it happening, you know? So let's put it in a nutshell. Um, I think Vivek looks up a little bit more with envy to Elon, and Elon definitely looks down his nose and at Vivek. I think Elon is going to expect the rest of Trump's team to follow his direction, just like he expects Trump to follow his direction because he supported his campaign with all that money. And I think this is going to cause a problem, at least with Vivek, perhaps. So, I guess that's it for right now, and I will see you in the next video or live. The live will be on Saturday. Bye.